हेलो बच्चों। CBSC Political Science Chapter 4 Part 3, and this is the last part also. In the last video we read till this release gender, religion and caste, page number 51. From the page 51 only, caste and politics. We have seen two instances of the expression of social divisions in the arena of politics, one largely positive and the other largely negative. Let us turn to our final case, that of case and politics, that has both positive and the negative aspects. Caste inequalities. Unlike gender and religion, caste division is special to India. All societies have some kind of social inequality and some form of division of labor. In most societies, occupations are passed on from one generation to another. Caste system is an extreme form of this. What makes it different from other societies is that in this system, hereditary occupational division was sanctioned by rituals. Members of the same caste group were supposed to form a social community and practiced the same or similar occupation, married within the caste group, and did not eat with members from other caste groups. Caste system was based on exclusion of and discrimination against the outcast groups. They were subjected to the inhuman practice of untouchability, about which you have studied in class 9th. That is why political leaders and social reformers like Jyotiba Phule, Gandhiji, B.R. Ambedkar, and Periyar Ramaswamy Naikar advocated and worked to establish a society in which caste inequalities are absent. Partly due to their efforts and partly due to other socio-economic changes, caste and caste system in modern India have undergone great changes. With economic development, large scale urbanization, growth of literacy and education, occupational mobility, and the weakening of the position of landlords in the villages, the old notions of caste hierarchy are breaking down. Now, most of the times in urban areas, it does not matter much who is walking along next to us on a street or eating at the next table in a restaurant. The Constitution of India prohibited any caste based discrimination and laid the foundations of policies to reverse the injustices of the caste system. If a person who lived a century ago were to return to India, she would be greatly surprised at the change that has come about in the country. Yet, caste has not disappeared from the contemporary India. Some of the older aspects of caste have persisted. Even now, most people marry within their own caste or tribe. Untouchability has not ended completely. Despite constitutional prohibition, effects of centuries of advantages and disadvantages continue to be felt today. The caste groups that had access to education under the old system have done very well in acquiring modern education as well. Those groups that did not have access to education or were prohibited from acquiring it have naturally lagged behind. That is why there is a disproportionately large presence of upper caste among the urban middle classes in our country. Caste continues to be closely linked to economic status. Caste in politics. As in the case of communalism, casteism is rooted in the belief that caste is the sole basis of social community. According to this way of thinking, people belonging to the same caste belong to a natural social community and have the same interest which they do not share with anyone from another caste. As we saw in the case of communalism, such a belief is not borne out by our experience. Caste is one aspect of our experience, but it is not the only relevant or the most important aspect. Caste can take various forms in politics. When parties choose candidates in elections, they keep in mind the caste composition of the electorate and nominate candidates from different castes so as to muster necessary support to win elections. When governments are formed, political parties usually take care that representatives of different castes and tribes find a place in it. Political parties and candidates in elections make appeals to caste sentiment to muster support. Some political parties are known to favor some caste and are seen as their representatives. Universal adult franchise and the principle of one person, one vote compelled political leaders to gear up to the task of mobilizing and securing political support. It also brought new consciousness among the people of caste that were hitherto treated as inferior and low. The focus on caste in politics can sometimes give an impression that elections are all about caste and nothing else. That is far from true. Just consider these. No parliamentary constituency in the country has a clear majority of one single caste. So every candidate and party needs to win the confidence of more than one caste and community to win elections. No party wins the votes of all the voters of a caste or community. When people say that a caste is a vote bank of one party, it usually means that a large proportion of the voters from that caste vote for that party. Many political parties may put up candidates from the same caste if that caste is believed to dominate the electorate in particular constituency. Some voters have more than one candidate from their caste, while many voters have no candidate from their caste. The ruling party and the sitting MP or MLA frequently lose elections in our country. That could not have happened if all castes and communities were frozen in their political preferences. Clearly, while caste matters in electoral politics, so do many other factors. The voters have a strong attachment to political parties, which is often stronger than their attachment to their caste or community. People within the same caste or community have different interests depending on their economic condition. Rich and poor, or men and women from the same caste, often vote very differently. People's assessment of the performance of the government and the popularity rating of the leaders matter and are often decisive in elections. Politics in caste. We have so far looked at what caste does to politics, but it does not mean that there is only one way relation between caste and politics. Politics too influences the caste system and caste identities by bringing them into the political arena. Thus, it is not politics that gets caste ridden, it is the caste that gets politicized. This takes several forms. Each caste group tries to become bigger by incorporating within it neighboring caste or subcaste which were earlier excluded from it. Various caste groups are required to enter into a coalition with other castes or communities and thus enter into a dialogue and negotiation. New kinds of caste groups have come up in the political arena like backward and forward caste groups. Thus, caste plays different kinds of roles in politics. In some situations, expression of caste differences in politics gives many disadvantaged communities the space to demand their share of power. In this sense, caste politics has helped people from Dalits and OBC caste to gain better access to decision making. Several political and non political organizations have been demanding and agitating for an end to discrimination against particular caste, for more dignity and more access to land, resources, and opportunities. At the same time, exclusive attention to caste can produce negative results as well. As in the case of religion, politics based on caste identity alone is not very healthy in a democracy. It can divert attention from other pressing issues like poverty, development, and corruption. In some cases, caste division leads to tension, conflict, and even violence. So, this is done. Chapter 4 of Political Science CBSC. Okay, uh, thank you.